A manhunt is underway right now in the West Bank after Israeli police say a Palestinian man stabbed an Israeli. These kind of lone wolf attacks are happening almost every day as the violence in that region threatens to explode. Watch, you can see Israeli police searching. Witnesses reportedly saying that attacker ran away. We're told the victim is very badly hurt. In another instance, Israeli police say they shot and killed a teenage girl who pulled a knife at a police checkpoint, also in the West Bank. So how do you stop the violence in that country of our greatest ally in the Middle East, Israel? Well, presidential candidate and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says you start with the Palestinians. He's calling for them to have more freedom, despite the recent surge of attacks against Israelis. It's causing kind of a stir, what he said, so why did he say it? He explained those comments to me in a wide-ranging interview. Watch.
I think when you assess sort of the Middle Eastern situation, everybody says, what's the solution? You know, what's the grand solution? How do we fix it over there? And, you know, the U.S. has tried to be involved in different peace talks really since I was a kid. I don't think any of them have quite worked yet. And I went over there about 2 years ago and I thought, well, how can I help? You know, I think I'm a smart guy. Maybe I'll try to figure it out and I'll come up with a solution. But I came away from it thinking, you know what, maybe there is no one big solution where everybody's going to love each other and hold hands. But maybe the incremental solution would be that we try to increase the economic well-being of everybody in the area. And that particularly includes those on the West Bank and those in Gaza. And I think there probably are ways that we could maybe do that. And I think people who are less hungry are less likely to fight.
How would you handle the Syria piece in the puzzle, knowing that you have to go after ISIS, or do you feel like you do?
I think the first thing to understand is we need to look at the history of how ISIS arose and how they got bigger. For example, in Libya, you have a failed state, and a third of Libya now pledges allegiance to ISIS. It's one of the hotbeds for ISIS because there's no government. But that might have something to do with the fact that we toppled Gaddafi. In Syria, I think we have variations of evil on both sides. You have Assad on one side and you have ISIS on the other. And people who say, well, we need to defeat Assad and have regime change in Syria, I think that's a recipe for allowing ISIS to grow stronger. In fact, I argued strenuously against bombing Assad. After he used chemical weapons against his people, many in our country, Republicans and Democrats, wanted to bomb Assad. And I said, hey, guys, wait a minute. If you bomb Assad, you may allow ISIS to grow stronger.
Senator, what is the greatest threat to our national security right now?
I think our debt. I think that you can't be a strong country from bankruptcy court. And this is why I tell people all the time, and this is what separates me from most of the Republican field, I don't think you can be a fiscal conservative if you're liberal with military spending. I think if you want to be a fiscal conservative, you have to be conservative with all spending, whether it's domestic welfare or military. What we have in Washington is the opposite compromise. You have people on the right who say we need more military spending. People on the left want more welfare spending. And you know what? We get more of both.
Rand Paul also weighing in on the 2016 race still ahead, what he says he offers that no other candidate does, and why a push for government shutdown, in his words, can be a noble thing. Hillary Clinton, is she inevitable once again? After hours of Benghazi testimony on Capitol Hill and campaign stops in Iowa, including the all-important Jefferson-Jackson dinner, Fox News political insiders are up next, and we want to hear from you. If she ends up being the Democratic nominee, which of the GOP candidates match up best to beat Hillary Clinton to the White House? Hit us up on our Fox News social media pages, Facebook and Twitter. Stay close.
Gentlemen, it's the end of an era. At our last buy one, get three free sale ever. Buy one suit or sport coat, get three free. This offer will soon be history, so don't miss out. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
Ah, bonjour. We shave, yes?
I should change blades.
Oh, sure, monsieur Big Bucks. New blade today, new chalet tomorrow. Enough! We shave!
Don't shave with a filthy razor, because new ones are so expensive.
Shave with a fresh blade, anytime. Try DollarShaveClub.com.
Can't get those disgusting stains out of your kitchen counter? Don't replace it, zap it! Is that tile hallway so dingy and dirty you're ready to rip it out? Don't replace it, zap it! Has your bathroom become so embarrassing you're ready for a remodel? Don't replace it, zap it! Presenting new and improved Zap, the professional strength restorer that's guaranteed to make porcelain, fiberglass, tile and grout, and real metals like brass, copper, and cast iron all look brand new again or your money back. Zap is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Just spray it on, let it sit, and wipe it off. And in just minutes, your surfaces are back like new. Zap is a restorer, not a cleaner. Ordinary cleaners only work on surface dirt, but Zap actually penetrates stains to restore surfaces to their original new shine.
My bathtub was looking so horrible and dingy that I was going to replace it. It was going to cost me $1,500. But I found Zap. All I did was spray it on, wait a few minutes, it restored it to new condition.
Watch as we use Zap on this old brass fixture. In just seconds, it's restored like new. Zap with its fresh wintergreen scent works on toilet bowls, rust, and hard water stains. In fact, Zap is so effective it's guaranteed to remove any stain from any of these surfaces or your money back.
The bathroom was in such bad shape we didn't know what to do. And then I discovered Zap. I sprayed it on, I wiped it off, and there it was, completely restored.
Replacing these surfaces could cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But why replace it when you can restore it with new and improved Zap Concentrated Restorer for only $19.95? We'll also include a free Zap sprayer attachment, a free bottle of Zap Maintainer, plus 2 industrial Zap pads. Call in the next 5 minutes and we'll double your order of Zap absolutely free.
To order Zap, call 1-800-219-1940. That's 1-800-219-1940. Or you can visit us on the web at zapdoubleoffer.com. That's zapdoubleoffer.com. Don't delay, call or click today.
This is a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award. People who haven't suffered side effects yet may also be at risk. So call Foster and Houston at 800-297-1103 to see if you qualify to make a claim for a cash award. That's 800-297-1103.
Looks like some folks have had it with their airline credit card miles. Sometimes those seats cost a ridiculous number of miles. Or there's a fee to use them. I know, it's so frustrating. They'd be a lot happier with the Capital One Venture card. And you would too. Why? It's so easy with Venture. You earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. Just book any flight you want, then use your miles to cover the cost. Now that's more like it. What's in your wallet?
All right, as we near the bottom of the hour, I want to bring you up to speed on what's been breaking news at this hour. Fox News alert on the driver accused of slamming into that homecoming parade in Oklahoma. She has been charged with second-degree murder, and we can tell you for sure now that she's going to end up in court tomorrow. That's something that we can confirm. She's 25 years old, arrested for DUI actually yesterday morning. The conviction for murder in the second degree has a sentence of 10 years to a life imprisonment for each count. As I mentioned earlier, 4 people died, 47 others injured, and a handful of them still in critical condition at last we checked. A community reeling at Oklahoma State University, as you might imagine. But she will be in court tomorrow, charged with second-degree murder. We'll update you if anything else happens this hour, for sure. Well, in part 2 of my interview with Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul, that Kentucky senator discusses the strategy behind shutting down the government to get reform. Here it is.
That's always the debate. The debate has to be, on one hand, we could shut down government and use that leverage to get reform. That's not an end all. It's not like, oh, we want to shut down government to gleefully run around and say we shut down government. The people who want to shut down government to use it as leverage to get reform may well be a noble purpose, because you compare that to the status quo.
Right.
So let's say the status quo is that we're just going to continuing resolutions, all the spending bills get lumped into one, but no reform occurs. So which is more dangerous to the republic, borrowing $1 million a minute or temporarily shutting down government to use that leverage to cull out the wasteful spending? I think you should let all spending expire. Now, you can call it a shutdown or what you will. I call it letting it all expire, and I would immediately try to restart the things we need. So a minute after it expired, I would say, you know what, we need national defense. Let's decide first what we will spend on national defense, and then I would go on to other items. But you know what? It would take 60 votes in the Senate to pass anything, and so wasteful and sometimes offensive spending would go away.
On the Democrat side, you probably heard Joe Biden not going to get in.
Right.
And then you saw this past week, you saw Hillary Clinton on the Hill in the hot seat for 11 hours in the Benghazi committee. So that side of the ticket, do you think that side of the race is kind of shaping up?
Maybe. I've been one all along that thinks it'll be more competitive on the Democrat side than people think.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because I think Hillary Clinton is wounded. And I mean, you know, at least half the country thinks she's dishonest in recent polling. And so I think that's something hard for her to overcome. I think Benghazi is not just a partisan issue. I think that Benghazi is actually an issue of whether or not she has the wisdom and judgment to defend the country and the will to defend the country.
You know, I read earlier that you said with Joe Biden out of the race, Democrats now have a choice between between socialism and corruption. Why do you put it that way?
I didn't say that.
You did say that.
Well, tweeting can be kind of mean. I don't know if you've heard, but people send out mean and snarky tweets. And so
You've never sent out a snarky tweet, have you?
That one was kind of snarky.
Okay, well, I caught it.
And that was kind of my idea, actually, because I thought it really distills it down. One, Bernie Sanders is happy to say he's a socialist. If he were here, he'd tell you. But I think socialism is bad. I talk on a lot of college campuses, and I say, look, there's nothing sexy or cool about socialism. It is implied force, and often in history has been the utilization of force to imprison people who don't do what you want them to. It's the most anti-choice system probably ever concocted by man.
Where do you see yourself in this race? What do you offer voters that you think they don't get anyplace else? Not just you as the man, but your perspective on things.
I try to put it really simply in a shell, particularly for kids, to tell them how I'm different when I'm on the college campuses. And I tell them, look, I don't want government to collect your phone records without a warrant. I don't want government to put you in jail for marijuana. And I don't want government to send you to another Iraq war. You sum all that up, and I'm the only one, Republican or Democrat, saying that.
Let's bring in now the Fox News political